Seattle right now with a young quarterback there, rookie quarterback, and Russell Wilson, who is really and I would think was an absolute steal as a quarterback in the third round for Wisconsin. He's have that Seattle Seahawks team playing pretty good right now at 6-4.
He really does, and I think he's opened a lot of people's eyes. I've loved him ever since I saw him at North Carolina State, 3 years ago, and then he transferred to Wisconsin and took them to to big heights as well. And even though he was only a third round draft pick, and that's only because of his height, I thought he would be, if he was 6'2", he'd be one of the top quarterbacks drafted last year. He probably would have went right behind RG3. So he's playing big-time football as a rookie. He's probably got the best numbers of any rookie in the league right now as far as his touchdown-interception ratio and his passing percentage. His team is 6-4, right in the playoff hunt. So he is really off to a great start as a young quarterback.
It certainly is, and I thought that he did a great job out in Wisconsin. And I know that Seattle was actually looking for a quarterback, and they just had this kid drop in their laps, and he's going to be there for a long time. I really like the way he manages the football game. He's unflappable, and he's a rookie. But he's an older rookie. What's he, about 26 years old, somewhere around there, Warren?
No, he's only 23, but, he played some professional baseball. I think being involved in professional baseball, being around grown men and that, I think it helped him mature a little bit more. He's mature beyond his years. He has great work ethic. I think his dad taught him that when he was a young boy, and he puts as much time into it as anybody I've ever been around.
Good quarterback. I always liked. I also like the running back there, and a guy named Marcel Lynch, who, wow, he's a load, that kid, don't you think?
He really is, and that's what makes their offense go. They want to run the football first and establish the run with Marshawn, and then play action pass off of that. And Marshawn had his fourth straight 100-yard game the other day against New York Jets. I think he went for 124 yards on that game and a touchdown. So he's just been very, very productive, the most productive back in the league over the last year. And that's, again, what makes the Seahawks go, is that running game to go along with Russell Wilson in the play-action passing game.
They're dynamite at home. They haven't lost yet at home, Seattle. And I think they're a team that's on the rise. You got Sidney Rice out there also, who's a dynamite wide receiver. They got good players on that team. They got good defense on that team. I think they'll be around for a while. In Philadelphia, we're hurting right now. Our whole offensive line has been decimated. Michael Vick has a concussion right now. He probably won't play. Nick Foles, the rookie, will start. But in Philadelphia, we're suffering over a team supposed to be with nothing but stars on there, and they can't win a game. How do you think a guy like Michael Vick or the Philadelphia brass is handling their season right now?
Well, it's tough because, like you said, if your offensive line isn't intact and if you can't control the line of scrimmage either with the running game or protecting your quarterback, it's going to affect your whole offense. And I've always said the offensive line is one of the most important parts of an offense because you can find skilled people anywhere, but you've got to be able to protect. You've got to be able to create space at the line of scrimmage, and they're just not able to do that. And Michael Vick has been running for his life and taking a lot of pounding this season. Finally caught up with him this past week. Nick Foles is a young player, and he's got to be behind that offensive line too, and I'm sure he's going to take his lumps, as I saw him take a few in the game last week when he played. They've just got to do some things personnel-wise to get that team back on track. Like you said, there's a lot of stars on that team, but stars don't always make a good football team. A team makes a good team, and right now they're not playing that way. And they need to really look at their personnel in the off season, get that offensive line geared back up again, because that's where it all starts. It starts on both sides of the line of scrimmage, on the offensive and defensive lines. And if you can't control those two sides, you're going to have a tough time winning football games. That's for sure. I always said it, and everybody who's ever been on our show, the game is won in the trenches on the offensive and the defensive line, and you got to protect your quarterback. You being a former quarterback, that protection is really, really important. And when you have time to throw the ball, you'll have a chance. But I don't care if you put your Warren Moon or Johnny Unitas or Randall Cunningham or Michael Vick or anyone else in that on the bad offensive line. You're not going to get the job done. And you need at least, 3.5 seconds in that from the drop back from the center to get the ball out of your hands to be okay? Yeah, it depends on what type of pass route it is. But, yeah, I watched Michael Vick last week against New Orleans, and on three-step drops, he barely had enough time to throw the football away on just a quick three-step drop. But guys were hitting him as he was throwing the football, and it was just kind of uneasy for me as a quarterback to look at, to see him take that type of punishment. And then they showed a bunch of clips of him in games prior to that one, and just how much of a beating he's been taking. And he's not the biggest guy in the world. So as a quarterback, when you're under that type of duress, it really affects the way you play the game. You're not going to play in a very smooth style. Your mechanics are going to be rushed. You're going to be doing things a little bit faster than you should be. It's going to affect your accuracy and different things like that. And Michael's suffering through all of that right now. So it's a tough situation for him. He's handled it like a pro. He's not blaming anything on anybody. All he keeps saying is he needs to get better. But the only way he can get better is for the people around him to get better.
Without a doubt, and I'm glad you said that, because I wanted just the Philadelphia listeners to listen that it's not Michael Vick's fault. If you don't have an offensive line, you can be Warren Moon, you can be Johnny Unitas, you can be Terry Bradshaw, Roger Staubach, Fran Tarkin, anybody you want. And if you can't get rid of the ball on a three-step drop back, you're in a lot of trouble. And that's what the offensive line has put the Eagles in a lot of trouble. They're projected to go to the playoffs. They're not going to go to the playoffs this year. Everyone's on the offensive line, Warren. They're all hurt. Every single one that started, they're all hurt.
Yeah, you can't blame those guys up front that aren't there. Nobody wants to get hurt, but injuries are part of the game, and that's one position that they've really been decimated at, is the offensive line. And the guys behind them, there's a reason why they're backups, and they're just having a tough time right now trying to protect whatever quarterback is in there. And when you see your quarterback going through that, you're wondering, is it his fault? But you'll see when the next guy comes in there, he's going to have some of those same problems. So they're going to have to get that corrected. It might not be able to happen this year just because of injuries, but in the off season, that's something that definitely needs to be addressed. No matter who the coach is going to be, no matter who the quarterback is going to be, they're going to have to get their offensive line up to speed.